Marcelino, one name, or rather a nickname, that shocked the public opinion and occupied reporters for a very long time. The story was a real police thriller that had it all: kidnapping, ransom, football family, hostage-taking, blood, death, suspense, and a tragic ending. Marcelino's real name was Yanis Tsatsanis, born in 1973 and of Gypsy heritage. He was an influential member of his community and loved by many in his family and friend group. He was also an extremely talented football player, and everything looked like he was about to become the next big star of Greek football. He played for Keravnos Ayas Varvaras, where everyone called him Maradona. In that era, Maradona was at the peak of his career. Now, upon hearing that Marcelino was a gypsy, most people's minds would automatically think of stereotypes of him being a troublemaker, a beggar, a thief, and uneducated. However, this was not the case of Marcelino. He was the son of a well-to-do family, as his father, George Tsatsanis, was an importer of electronics with a good reputation in the trade. On the afternoon of Sunday, March the 18th, 1999, Yanis Tsatsanis was sitting in the cafeteria Tropicana when his close friends Kostas Spiniaris and Dimitris Agapitos approached him and told him that they knew who had stolen the radio from his car and could find it. The 17-year-old followed them, and after changing cars in Nikia, they went to find the cassette player in Schistos. Stamatis Gripeos, Dimitris Kafturos, and Yanis Lazaru were waiting for them at the artillery depot. They rushed to Marcelino as soon as he got out of the car and fired a pistol in the air. Spiniaris and Agapitos pretended that they were afraid and ran away. The three went to the house of Yanis Petrakis in Chaivari, who, according to what the police claimed at the time, did not know about the abduction. His girlfriend, Theophania Mesmerlis, was also in the apartment. Marcelino did not return home at night, and his family began to look for him. The next day, they reported the disappearance to the police. But there was never any live communication. On Tuesday, March the 20th, Gripeos called Yorgos Tsatsanis and spoke in Greek, English, and Italian. He told the child's father, "Marcelino is fine, but in order to see him again, you will have to give us 150 million drachmas," and he immediately hung up the phone. Other phone calls followed in a more dramatic tone. The father had managed to collect 30 million drachmas and went to the police to report that he had been abducted. However, the perpetrators decided to kill Marcelino because his father was late in delivering the ransom money, and because they assumed that the 17-year-old had recognized Spiniaris and Agapitos, who were his close friends and teammates. At night, and a few days after the abduction, they put him in a car and transported him to Skurta Vietia, where they put him in another vehicle and took him to a corral in Katobigavi, Skurton. Based on the information of a preliminary investigation, Agapitos, Spiniaris, and Gripeos led Marcelino into the corral, where they had dug a pit with a depth of more than half a meter. The revolver belonged to Skafturos, but Agapitos and Spiniaris hesitated to pull the trigger because they had grown up with Marcelino, and they were also teammates at Keravnos. Eventually, Gripeos was persuaded to take the gun and shoot the 17-year-old twice in the heart and neck. After they returned to Athens, they convinced Tsatsanis that his son was still alive and continued to call the father of the unfortunate child and ask for the ransom. On Tuesday, June the 19th, the dog breeder Christos Agathis went to his corral and heard a wild dogfight. When he approached, he smelled a strong stench and noticed that the sheepdogs had pulled a half-torn jacket from the ground. He shivered as soon as he saw the whole spectacle and alerted the police. The corpse was in advanced decomposition because it was buried in manure, and while the head was found 50 meters away and had been savaged by the dogs. The corpse's left hand was also missing. Presumably, it had been eaten by the dogs. Some personal items were found, such as a lighter, and they were stuffed in the victim's underwear, which their relatives recognized and then burst into tears. The case was investigated within a few days. In December 1991, the trial began in the Criminal Court of Athens. Despite his drama, his father Yanis Tatsanis had said that he did not want a vendetta because these things led nowhere and above all, they would not bring his child back. However, during his arrest, Kostas Spinaris was shot inside the security car that transported him and he was injured along with a few police officers. Gypsy relatives and friends repeatedly attacked the accused during the trial. On Thursday, December the 19th, the court found the 8 accused guilty and imposed heavy sentences on them. Gripeos and Spinaris were sentenced to death, even though that had been abolished by law at the time. The trial for Skafturos had been separated because he had not been arrested yet. He had fled abroad, and eventually he was arrested in collaboration with the FBI in New York on May 29, 2008, 2 years before the crime expired.